Well, I was much more romantic when I was younger. And I did a lot of things that I saw in the movies. And I did them with a great deal of sincerity. And it generally did not work out very well for me. One of the things that I talk about is, I call it the fundamental rule of attraction, which is that people want what they want, not what wants them. So there's another principle at play here, which is, see if you follow me on this one. It's not possible for two people to like each other exactly the same amount. Do you guys believe that that's true?
Yes. Do you believe that the man should want the woman more?
No. So let me talk a little bit more about this. There's always somebody in a relationship who likes the other person more, and there's always someone in a relationship who likes the other person less. I call this person the adorer and this person the adored. When a man comes out of the gate with buying flowers and going out of his way, it really does put him in a place of the adorer very early, and it creates a big gap in that attraction, because the fact of the matter is that no one has earned that yet. Yeah. And that's why it kind of comes off as untrustworthy. It's because there's nothing that the woman has done yet to demonstrate that she's worthy of his affection. And so it comes off as, even though it's in this, as just kind of desirous of wanting to be liked, which isn't generally why we like people. We don't really like people who want to be liked. We don't respect people who want to be liked. And it's very hard for women to be attracted to men that they don't respect. And so by giving unearned gifts, it generally reduces a woman's respect for a man, which over time, they can think it's sweet, they can think it's cute, but these aren't serious contenders for a woman's affections.
Hey everyone, this is RockStationSky.com, and we got to talk about this, because this one, I usually talk to the ladies here. The ladies, you guys can listen in, but I'm going to talk to the fellas here, because what I like to call this is you run the risk of falling for these one-size-fits-all type of advice, right? Because if you listen to his argument, and I like the way he talks and the dialogue that they're having, it's really easy to tell yourself as a guy, oh my God, he's right. There's thousands of comments. This is whatever, I have the link down below, whatever podcast. There are thousands of comments who are like, dang, oh my God, he's right. I've seen this. As a guy, especially if you're a Christian who fell into Christianity late, meaning, you're a part of the world, you try to do what the world did when it comes to dating and find your wife, but when you weren't finding success, now you're a Christian and you're trying to live by Christ's scriptures and Christ's standard. It's oh my God, what he's saying makes perfect sense. I've actually experienced this. And what happens is you run the risk of conforming who you are to be this, meaning, oh, well, I want to get married, I want to have a wife. Women are like this. I haven't found any women who are the way I thought the fairy tale and the princesses that you grew up with, this idea in your head of what a woman should be. I haven't found that. All women are like that. So I need to conform who I am and change who I am to be this kind of guy in order to get them. And you run the risk of doing that. I would warn you against that. If you change who you are to be this kind of guy that the psychiatrist is basically suggesting men should do to get women, you're going to get women like the women on that podcast. Like the women who are like that, who, oh my God, he's giving me gifts and then he's being chivalrous. Oh, I don't trust him. He's a nice guy. And then, and they don't respond well to that, so it boggles my mind a little bit, because I feel sorry for the ladies too. What I'm going to talk about is this, and this is very simple. There's at least one commenter in the video. If you scroll down to YouTube comments and look at their stuff, there's at least one woman who said this perfectly fine. Every culture is different. I think that right now, and sad to say, in American Western, the reason why the passport movement is so big is because America, I would say from the 1960s, when they removed Bibles from, there's been a long-standing campaign to remove Christianity from schools, remove religion from schools. And what happened is, when you remove religion from school, when it comes to morality, what's right and what's wrong, that's all this breaks down to. There's a void there. If there's no God telling us what's right and what's wrong, then who decides that? And very often it's the community. The community is arbitrary, meaning it sways, it changes. What's cool today may not be cool tomorrow. And for everyone else, everyone basically becomes their own God. You know, like they're slaves and they're worship themselves, their feelings, or they worship the celebrities, right? So what are celebrities doing? You see all these women becoming, you know, sexually free and liberated from the sexual revolution 1960s, rolling into the 80s and the 90s. It just kept continuing to bubble and spiral out of control. So now we have a culture in America where sex is very casual, where sex is expected within the first couple of dates. And when you have that kind of society, what this psychiatrist is saying, it makes sense. You know, like, because they have no morality, or their morality it's not a set standard. It's based on how they feel. When I say the culture plays an important factor, this is what I'm talking about, because it depends on how you're raised. Like, there are women here in America, and they were raised properly. They had a mom and a dad, and they showed their children, hey, this is how loving couples behave. You know, this is what affection is. You know, you reward affection. You reward the nice behavior. You reward the good guys. I won't say nice guys because so many people put a negative connotation. So I'll say the good men. Good men are Christian men. And if you're not a Christian, this is just a matter of opinion, right? Because I believe that what's right and wrong is basically what's defined in the Bible. So when the psychiatrist says what happens is if a man's giving you all this affection and, you know, showering you flowers and take you on the first date, very often a lot of ladies, they find it, you know, like she hasn't earned it. You know, I've heard that from a lot of red pill channels. Oh, well, she has to earn it. She has to earn it. She has to earn it. Here's the deal with that. When I say everyone's different, fellas, I think I'm not the only one who would get this. Flowers is nothing. Me taking you on a date because I think you're attractive and I'm trying to get to know you, that's not a big deal to us. You know, to the woman, maybe, oh my God, he's buying me these flowers and he's taking me out to this high class date. He's doing too much. He's doing too much. Like, that might be in her head, but to him, like, if he can afford it, especially myself, us men in our 30s who build ourselves, so we have finances, right? We ain't these F-boys that you're dealing with out on the streets who are struggling to pay rent and all that. Like, we have money. Us buying flowers and take you on a date and showering you with affection, texting you and saying, hey, how you doing? You good? That's nothing to us. It really is nothing. Like, it really boggles my mind when people act like, because I see, even on Instagram, right? Like, there's a bunch of channels when it comes to toxic behavior. A lot of ladies are telling men, oh, if you want her to really be crazy about you, you know, don't respond to her text messages, wait like multiple days, you know, act like you don't care. And it's like, for what? You know, like, do you guys think I want to marry someone who all it boils down to is these ladies have alright, this is going to sound really bad, very little self-esteem, very little self-respect. Because there are women out there who have built themselves, like, you know your worth, you know you're beautiful, you know you're a good person. And if a guy comes and says, hey, I think you're really attractive, can I ask you out? Like, she's not going to think, oh, but I haven't earned it. I'm just here and I'm beautiful and you want me just because of that? Like, she's going to understand. Yep, makes sense. You know, she woke up, like, she had enough people in her life. She had a daddy raise her and says, hey, sweetheart, come here. You're beautiful, right? All these guys are gonna be throwing themselves at you, but you gotta pick the right one. You gotta vet them properly. She has that self-esteem, you know? So she's not out here getting with every guy, giving her body to every guy, raising up her body count, trying to, oh my God, I gotta find the right one. She knows her self-worth before she even steps out of the house. So when she meets a guy like me and I give her flowers, she's going to appreciate that. She's going to reciprocate that appreciation, right? Those are the women you go for. Rock, those are unicorns. I don't believe in that crap. Why? Because I'm kind of a unicorn. Men like me aren't supposed to exist. I'm 37, a virgin, a Christian, have all my finances together, no student debt. You know, I don't live in my parents' basement. I got a lot going for me, right? I'm not supposed to exist by current culture standards. You know, I believe in waiting till marriage to have sex. What? What's wrong with you? I believe in, you know, I live my life by Christ standards. You know, Jason Whitlock talked about Charleston White. Charleston White just did an interview with Cam Newton, and Charleston White made a point about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. He said that Malcolm X didn't just talk about being a Muslim, he actually lived that life, whereas the high-standing Christian, which was Martin Luther King Jr., you know, after he, you know, won, he like basically cheated on his wife and all that. I don't know how much that is true, but that's the perception that's going out there. I walk the walk and I talk the talk, you know? I am kind of a unicorn. I believe that there are women out there that exist. They are rare, and very often they get scooped up early, but they're rare. And people can change. People can repent. So if you have a bad whore lifestyle, the 304 lifestyle, and you repented and came unto Christ, I'm willing to accept that, but of course it's going to take some time. And for us Christian men who have waited, we're not so blind about it. I say this all the time. Check out all my videos. We're not blinded to the red flags, right? If you're not having sex before marriage, you're going to be able to vet this woman properly. I'm going to make a whole series about red flags that you can look out for. But to the fellas, when you see this, oh man, I don't want to text her and let her, as soon as she texts me back, I don't want to send her emojis. I don't want to come off as a good guy. I don't want to come off like I'm desperate. Dude, just be yourself. Be yourself. If who you are, if this woman isn't appreciating who you are as a person, if this woman isn't reciprocating and responding to who you are as a person, that's not the person for you. Let her go. Because big picture, long term, are you going to be happy with a person like that, right? You get married, because very often ladies get mad, oh, he isn't who I thought he was. Or because eventually you're going to drop the act. There's plenty of people, I've dealt with this my whole flipping life, where they put on an act for at least 6 months to a year, and then eventually the act drops. The real person comes out. And very often, a lot of you ladies, sad to say, because we heard this broken record before, why'd you get divorced? Well, he led me to believe that he was someone because it's called game, right? You guys fall for it all the time. And if you had decent role models to tell you, hey, he's lying. He's just telling you what you want to hear to get in your pants. And as soon as you give it to him, the magic's gone. But if you make him wait, if you vet him properly, if you see that if he has the right virtues, you can avoid all that. For us guys to be showering you with love and affection from the get-go, flowers, taking you on a date, a lot of us, that's really nothing. I do agree with what he's saying with this, when it comes to, you have to earn it. It's your heart, that's what you have to earn. If I ask a girl out on a date, I'm not in love with her. I don't trust her. I don't know her. That's what you have to earn. I'm not going to give that to you right away. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask the right questions. I'm going to vet you properly. And if you earn it, then you get my love and my trust. So I get what he's saying. It's just sad that we live in a culture where there's so much bad advice. I'm not saying this guy is giving you bad advice. I think that it's good for men and women to soak in what's out there, soak in all these perspectives, so you can understand that there's different personalities. Not everyone thinks like me, and it behooves you as an adult to understand that there's different personalities out there. I would encourage my fellas to not conform. Why am I putting this on the fellas? Because we're supposed to be leaders. If you call yourself a Christian, then you're supposed to be a leader of your household. You're not leading if you're changing and conforming to basically follow women. That's what it is. All you guys out there, because there's a bunch of so-called alphas who says, oh, well, you gotta do this because women only respond to this. All right, then I'm not gonna go for those women. There's other women out there. No, all women are the same. I disagree. And even if they are the same, guess what? There's a thing called integrity where you do the right thing because it's the right thing. God damn it. This is third grade material. It's called integrity. It's called where you do the right thing despite the lack of reward or recognition. And if you call yourself Christian, you know that Christ sees you. God sees you. You will be ultimately rewarded. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all things will be added unto you, which means that you put God first and the ultimate reward is eternal life. So if you're not getting the wins, because very often there are a lot of Christians who suffer their whole lives not getting what they've always craved. And it's a human thing. All you guys who get mad or people want to shame you and say, all you do is talk about women. Oh, you need a woman? Or you need this is a human thing. From the dawn of antiquity, God has always seen humans, they need to socialize. There's plenty of scripture that says that if a man is by himself, isolating himself, then he's selfish. It is a human condition. I don't think it'll be that way in the kingdom of heaven, but while we're here on earth, we do desire companionship. This is not weak. This is not stupid. This is not foolish. We are humans. Anyone who has a problem with that or they disagree, they're either a narcissist or a sociopath. That's what I wanted to say. Because I saw this interview and it really does bug me when, because he's not wrong, but he's just talking about a large group of the population. That's not all. And I don't want my fellas to, when you get married, it should be forever. It should be for life. And I know that the odds are against us. The courts are against us. There's an 80% divorce rate in which most of it is initiated by women. The odds are stacked against us as men. But if you vet them properly, oh, well, she hasn't earned it. You're right. you know? And that's why it's so, ladies, I hate to tell you this. Oh, he ghosted me. He just walked away, or he gives up too easily. Probably because you haven't earned it. You haven't earned his commitment. That's the thing, you know, like if a guy gives you his commitment and you haven't earned it, either he's a fool or, man, he just has the ultimate confidence in himself to judge people. And I say that because I don't want to be a hypocrite. There have been 2 occasions in which I have committed very, very quickly, but I'm a good judge of character. Like, when I say I'm a good judge of character, Rock, you know what your problem is? You're judgmental. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And if you want to get mad at me and say, oh, well, that's your problem right there. I'm like, yep, I move on from people very quickly. At the same token, the benefit, the compliment of me being a judgmental person is when I do find people who's worthy of my commitment, you better believe I judge the crap out of them. God, this is so like common sense. I'll end it with this joke, but I always say this: like if it comes, I do get married and I do have children. I don't want to be at a table with my grown children and they say, "Hey, Dad, were you ever selective when it came to finding your wife, their mother?" I don't want to be in a position where no, I wasn't selective at all. I wasn't judgmental at all. I just took whatever God gave me. No, that'd be insulting to my wife. I want to, and I will say, no, I was judgmental. I was very selective. And I picked this one. You know, she had the right qualities. And if you say, I had a coworker ask me, Rock, what are you looking for in a wife? And I think he was looking for like superficial qualities, like long hair or whatever. But I said very abstract ideals. Pretty, in shape. She's positive. She's nice. She has a nice, kind, gentle heart. You know, I didn't even say Christianity because I think that those are Christian qualities to begin with. But I will say this, and I'll make a video about it in another video, because beauty is an eye of the beholder. What's pretty to me may not be pretty to someone else. And if you've seen some of the girls I thought were pretty, you might think, what? You really? So everyone's different, right? Just be yourself, right? Life is too short. You don't want to get divorced. And I think a lot of times people, especially men, you cheat and you get divorced because you basically cave into the conformity, you know? Oh, well, you know, I like white girls, but they say I gotta date black girls, and this is the only black girls coming for me, so I'll just do this to make my peer group happy or my family happy. And then you get married to them, and then you have a hot secretary who is a different race, and you find, you know, and you fall and you cheat on your wife. All right? You could have avoided that if you just hold it out. Anyway, I gotta stop. Okay.